Hey, I'm Alex from Marc's Mobility. In this video, we're going to go over a Quickie Q700-Up M. So this is the Q700-Up M. This unit does have about 80 miles of total drive distance on it. I do want to start this video that we're going to price this very aggressive because this is not typically a unit that we sell, but we did get this one in from a customer, so we are looking to just move this one at a good price, most likely for somebody that already had one of these looking for a backup. A couple things I notated on it. You'll hear there are a little bit of some creaking sounds when you're going up and down with the unit. That is how we're going to be selling the unit, with those sounds. We weren't able to identify quite where that sound comes from. We also noticed too that this is probably going to be made for somebody 180 pounds or under, just because when you go to that full stand-up feature, when you're somebody a little heavier like me at like 215, the unit, the foot plates kind of want to touch the ground. But so this is going to really, like I said, be somebody for a backup chair, but once again the price will be significantly lower than any other stand-up chair, just because of kind of the sounds and what we know about these units here. So Quickie is going to be a little bit nicer of a driving chair. It is going to have really good suspension. It is a mid-wheel drive chair. This one does have, looks like it has headlights, and then I believe in the back, yeah, there's going to be some tail lights. You should have turn signals. Yep, front and back. Just want to double check those. Yep, so you got front and rear turn signals as well. And then you're going to have a couple different speed profiles as well. I believe this is the 6 mile-an-hour package, but we'll check it when we go outside here at the end of this video. Just go over some things on the unit. Once again, armrest flip up on both sides for easy access. This one does have a knee block that is easily removable, and a chest strap because it does have that stand-up type feature on the unit. It is going to have other features, but they don't. It's not kind of like a large seat lift, so you can do some posterior tilt. You can do the anterior tilt, the standing, and your electric legs and your recline. But the seat lift is not going to be necessarily the best type of seat lift as compared to some other brands on the market. I'll go ahead and I will show you the seat lift now. All right, so you do have a control box over here on the left-hand side of the arm. I'm going to go ahead and just hit the lift button just so you can see. It does do a little bit of forward lift, and then so it's working off a couple different motors as compared to just one straight seat lift motor. But once again, you can kind of hear that sound. We believe it's somewhere that's rubbing that we weren't able to identify on the chair. But it does kind of go up and kind of rocks because it's not a true seat lift. It does use multiple motors to be able to get your seat elevated. And then when the seat is elevated as well, you are able to still drive the unit around. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that seat back down, but most likely it is going to be at a reduced speed. I'm going to see if I'm able to do two things at once here. Let me see if I'm able to do, okay, no. So you got to bring the seat lift all the way back down before you can do any other functions on the unit. Next thing I will show you is going to be the electric recline. And so from here, electric recline is pretty straightforward. You're able to do most of the functions through the switch box. I didn't see the lift button, but it is over here on the control box on the other side of the arm. So this is going to be your electric recline with the chair going back. Once again, these chairs, the standing chairs we typically sell, are in that $20,000 price point range. This one's going to be probably that $5,000 to $6,000 price point range, just because we're selling it as is, more or less for somebody that is going to have a backup type unit. But this is going to be your recline. And then you should be able to, while you are reclined, you should be able to then elevate your leg rests. That is in the height adjustment leg rests. Here you go. Get your legs to begin to elevate. Once again, you don't need to have the knee block on there unless you are standing, but some people like to have that just to kind of keep their legs secure. You are going to have lateral pads, which would keep your legs from flailing out. But this is what you're going to be looking like if you were to have the back reclined and then your legs elevated. So yeah, this is what you're going to look like here. Full recline, electric legs, so you can kind of lay flat back like into a bed. And then on the joystick itself, it does allow me to be able to do the recline and the legs at the same time. So you are going to have a seat belt on the unit as well, and the chest strap. The joystick, we are able to switch it over to the left-hand side if that's something that somebody needs. It is a swing-away joystick, so you can swing the joystick away from the front, all the way to the side of the arm like this so that you can get it out of the way so you have less obstruction if you're going to pull up to a table and or get out of the unit and push off the end of the armrest. But this can be mounted on the left hand side, and then we are able to then switch over the switch control box to the right hand side if you did want that to be changed. Next function I'm going to show you is going to be the electric tilt. So let me get to the tilt on here. So electric tilt, once again, the way Quickie works is it kind of uses a couple different motors. So it begins to kind of elevate you some and kind of rock forward and back to work with those two different motors. But then it is going to tilt. So this kind of tilt, what it's doing is taking the pressure off the lower half of your body and applying it to your back. This is going to help with pressure issues. It's going to help increase the circulation throughout the lower half of your body. So it's not a major tilt, but this is what your posterior tilt would look like. Let me bring that back down, and then I will show you, it does stand, like I said, it does make some of this like rubbing type noise, which we're not 100% sure where that is coming from. So once again, that's where we're going to price point this at a very low price. To move that, for if somebody's had one of these chairs and they want to back up, then this would be an option to consider this unit here. And the last thing I want to show you on here is going to be the standing function. So when it says stand up on the joystick, and you'll see this is going to begin to stand the user up between the chest strap and the knee block. That's going to keep somebody secure in the unit. Do want to mention 14-inch solid drive tires in the middle, 6-inch solid caster wheels in the front and the back. Once again, whoever's buying this probably already had one of these units, so they are going to be somewhat familiar with those functions and what the way this chair is designed. But this is what you're going to look like in the full standing function. So when you're standing on it, it's a little bit different, but if I was to put all of my weight in the front, you could see how it's not going to tip, but the foot plate could go lower to the ground. I had another person here that was about 180 pounds and it did not tip forward. So I'm thinking somebody 180 or under, maybe ideally about 150, then you would be able to stand up in this chair, and then you are also going to be able to still drive the chair while it is elevated. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that around to the front, and then I'm going to bring the seat back down. Once again, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing I would worry about with the sound. It's just one that we tried to lubricate all the rubbing pieces and weren't able to fully identify it. And this is not a unit that we commonly work on. So it was one that we just wanted to mention in the video. That's why we're just going to try to move it on to somebody else at a great price. I need to move it away from the wall so I don't hit the wall when we come back down. But you can kind of hear that sound that we're talking about. There's something in there that rubs. We're just not 100% sure what that is. And once I get this all the way down, I am going to go over the seat size, because this would be the size. Once again, it's not going to be something that is going to be overly configurable. So whatever the width and depth is going to be the size that we would send it out. Get the unit all the way back down. Okay, so the seat size on this unit is currently about a 16-inch wide by about 18 inches in depth. That's going to make the overall width of the unit from the outside of this box to the outside of the joystick about 26 inches. So just notate you're going to need at least 26 inches to clear a door frame. It does have built-in tie-down points, and the way it drives is a very, very, very comfortable chair. So once again, even if you're looking at this chair and you don't need the stand-up function, you just kind of want to have recline and legs and a very nice, comfortable chair, this would be a great chair to look at. And if you would, go ahead and follow us outside now. We're going to do a little driving demonstration. All right, so what we have here is that 700 Up. It does top out, this is saying about 5.7 miles an hour. Once again, I'm 210 pounds sitting in this unit. I kept the knee block on, but you can easily remove the knee block. If you push this red lever here in the front, the knee block does come off, but that is going to give somebody a little bit extra support. You are able to twist this knob here and bring that in so it can hold your legs a little bit better, a little bit tighter. And same with all of these. These are adjustable. Your leg laterals can come off, or I believe they can swing out. No, these ones look like they just come off. But it is going to be a mid-wheel drive chair. It does have very good suspension, so it does have a little bit of a climbing ability, really tight turning radius. So if you're looking for a chair, this is a nice chair. Like I said, outside of the sound, everything else functions well on the unit. So if you need one that is going to have some of the features that we mentioned, go ahead and take a look at this unit here.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc's Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.